Hey, it's Junkman from VintageRock.com, and we're at NAMM 2018, and I'm really, this is really cool. I love this convention for so many things, but one of the best things about it is you run into people that you haven't seen in a while, and you get to cover a lot of things that happened in the past that are now updated. And if anybody was around, there was a lot of people around the Los Angeles rock scene in the late 70s and way early 80s. There was a band that headlined all the clubs. They played like the Starwood and the Whiskey and all the great places, and people used to open them up. There's a band by the name of Carte. And Carte they're an LA legend in a lot of ways, simply because at around 1981, 82, they just kind of disappeared, and there was no records, there was no anything but just the stories about how great this band was. And bands like Quiet Riot and Van Halen and things like that, they all had opened up for this band, Carte. Well, fast forward many years later here, many years later, and the band got together. I got guitar player KK Martin. I have the bass player Craig Miller is the bass player, and also Ron Sandoval, who's there. I know, sometimes I get forgetful in my old age, but I got Ron Sandoval, who's their producer, who kind of tied everything. They found the songs that they had played back in the day that they had never really recorded or laid down or anything like that, and they did it. They put it together, and they have a great record out. Established 1976 is the name of the record, and again, we're here, so they're back, and they've got music that you can actually hear and just see how cool this band is. So, with that forward in mind, I wanna just say hi to the guys, man. It's great.
So good to see you, brother.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
You look good. It has been a long time. You look good too. Now, KK himself had been through some health issues and stuff. And the last time that I actually had seen him, we had a benefit, and I actually saw you on Skype, which was kind of cool. But you got better. You got in the studio with the guys, and you put this record together. I don't know who to even ask first. How did the ball actually get rolling? Does anybody want to jump in on that?
It's mostly it was a collective thing because of Ron here being a big fan that he is, and also the fact that we must have 40, 50 songs that we wrote throughout the years, and they've managed to keep all through time. They're still great to listen to now, and it was a shame to just let them go the way of the dodo. Yeah. And even though
the dodo,
and here it is 40 years later, and we finally put an album out, and we never have before.
Now, people have described the band, for a lot of people that don't know, and there are a lot of people that were unfamiliar simply because there wasn't material that was available for them to listen to. A description in a lot of ways is just a real southern boogie mixed with a very, very heavy rock, kind of in the if you took and kickstarted a ZZ Top record and put some more balls onto it, if you can actually even think about that, with a little bit more southern flair to it. Would that be a pretty good description?
They used to say it was like ZZ Top meets The Who and teams up with Jay Giles.
Yeah. Perfectly.
Something along those lines. There.
Our hit on it was always, bebop, boogie, and jive. That's what we called it. But mostly jive, right?
But it's like describing somebody that you never met, and it's like getting set up on a date. It's like saying, okay, she's like this and she's like that and like that, but you really got to be able to hear it. And now, due to Ron and the guys, you can actually hear it. So, how did you get involved in the project, man?
Well, to be perfectly honest, it was kind of like a referral that Brian Drummer, Brian O'Brien, he got my number and contacted me, and he did not disclose the name of the band yet, but he said he wanted to do some work in the studio, rekindle some of the old songs that he had with this band. And after talking to him maybe about a couple times, he finally told me it was Carte, and I was like, I'm in. Let's do this. I was really happy to be a part of it. I'm blessed to be a part of it. The recording process was amazing. There was a lot of things happening in our favor to make this record. Not just me, but collectively with the band, everything fell into place, and here we are now. And
Divine intervention.
yes,
Really?
Yes.
Can you go into that a little bit more?
Well, you know, I was on a really scary roller coaster just in general at this point in my life. Like, you know, like you said, I had some health issues going on, and you know, I'm just lucky to be here in general. I'm blessed, you know. I don't
As
know,
we
I
all
don't
are.
want to call that blessing luck, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my point on divine intervention. But and then, you know, when Ron called me, it was just the coolest thing ever. It was like he absolutely was the spark plug to this record getting made, and I can't thank you enough, Ron. I love working with Ron. And the recording process was, like you said, it was really, really amazing. They had already done the track, so nobody really even saw each other almost until the album was done. And, you know, and it kind of went that way. It was like Mission Impossible or something, you
A
know.
lot different than what the recording process used to be back in the day, because you had all the record company people, the tape, you had all the cocaine, you had all the rest of that stuff. So I can imagine, yeah, it's
No, never, no.
It's a really vibey, cool record because of that. It's just there's no, you know, on it.
now is it got like coming from you, the way that it turned out? Did it turn out exactly the way that you wanted to it, or were you surprised by certain things on it?
I was surprised by certain things about it, about learning how these songs actually should be produced and performed, and we finally were, you know, had enough wisdom to make that happen. And so, and really, I don't know how you explain that. Everybody, like I said, divine intervention. Everybody was in the right place at the right time, and it happened. There was like a million reasons why this album shouldn't have happened.
Right.
But
Can
it
you
did.
go into anything that people would be able to understand about that? I mean,
Well, just myself having health issues and everybody having lives. I mean, we've been at this a long time, and you know, there was 40 years. There's 4 decades in there.
right.
A lot of shit happened.
Well, I mean, initially, you know, like I said, there were so many of the bands back in the day. They always had at least some kind of material. With you guys, there was nothing that I could
Another
say.
thing about the band and this music was there was such a street scene then. There was no Facebook. There was no the social networking was looking at a flyer and going, "Wow, cool! I want to go to this party." You know, because there's going to be drinking and a band and girls there. You know.
And it's only $1.
And it's only, you know, what, $4 to get in. So I'm there. That's where I'm going, you know. And that was this whole big giant underground scene, like, you know, a big Spanky and Our Gang kind of adventure, you know. And all the bands were really great that came out of that era. I
Look
mean,
at all the bands that got signed out of that whole thing with, I mentioned Van Halen and Quiet Riot and bands like, you know, Snow and things like that went on to other things, but you know, all of a sudden there was no a la carte. So it was like it vanished. Somebody said it was like Brigadoon, you know, like they went back to go visit the town and it's gone.
always just behind the bus
Yeah.
or right ahead of the bus. You know,
Right.
we were always just right behind, you know, that spot. And for some reason, just a step behind. You know, we're just the right band in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But the groove that you got, like listening to the way that it is now, is that exactly what you had envisioned back in the day?
Better,
Even
yeah.
more so.
No, Ron coming into the picture, producing, really, you know, helped put these songs together in the studio. And they finally got recorded right. That's all.
We didn't mention.
We
I
got
know,
the sound of the band. We got the sound of the band on CD. That's us.
There's some maturity that you know, there's no drugs involved and there's no alcohol involved, and then we've matured over the years, and we got a chance to go in and lay these great songs down, and I'm real happy with the way it turned out. Brian played his little butt off on
I'm
that.
talking about the drummer Brian O'Brien, who's not with us here.
Who's not here? Yeah, who's not here?
His butt is still little.
But you know what the funny thing is though is now this is our album. We have this album out, you know, after 40 years, which is a kind of a neat story all in itself. You know, a debut album 40 years later. That's
40 years,
that's
start.
unique. And
It's like a 90-year-old rookie in baseball.
yeah, so Brian will call me every once in a while. We talk a lot on the phone. He'll call me and he goes, "Yeah, we sold one in Finland, England, Belgium, Germany, India, Italy, you know, and all this kind of stuff." And I'm going, "Oh, this is really cool. This is just like we're going global." And he goes, "Well, don't go put the down payment on the Ferrari yet, okay?" So, you know.
Which is the first thing you would have done back in the 70s, of course. You know, hey, we got signed. Boom, we're going to go out and buy a Ferrari. And then like, Oh wait, we got to pay for it now.
But it's really I feel really good about it. It's great to have Kevin here and having this, finally getting this album out. And I'm real proud of it. And the feedback we've been getting is really positive. People call up and say, "I wore it out. Can I have another?"
Yeah.
You know, and
Nothing wrong with that, dude.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
None of the tracks. Again, what I'm getting at.
Songs.
Well, there you go. He's got Volume 2 coming out in another 50 years from now, perhaps, you know. But the groove of the record, like, if you would have recorded this, these songs, were they recorded exactly the way that you would have recorded them back in the 70s? Is what I was really getting down to. You know, I mean,
I think it really grabbed the vibe of that deal. It was that deal. Once again, it was divine intervention, man.
Yeah.
You know, spirits moved on this album. Spirits moved
naturally,
and I think when people listen to the record, they're, you know, hopefully it'll move their spirit.
Well, it's called Established 1976, and you can find it on social media now that we have, and their website too, which is what, alacarte.com, or do you have
I don't know, something like that.
A la carte rocks. Is it?
A la carte rocks.
Yeah, .rocks. Yeah.
With, of course, an E at the end of a la carte, just so you guys know. So, but yeah.
We're around.
Yeah. And in the recording process, as far as the music went, to capture the essence of what they were and what people remember, I just let the music tell me what to do. I didn't produce, like, I didn't have a protocol. This is what we're going to do. The music told me what to do, and I just bottled it. That's it.
But we are conspiring. Yeah, we're conspiring, and we have more songs.
Yeah, we got a bunch more songs, and
I got to work with Ron again. I mean, working with Ron, we have so much fun in guitar land. You know,
I'm the producer for life. That's the way I feel. I'm blessed to be a part of this. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience to be here with these guys. The musicianship was incredible. It's stellar. It's nothing that I've actually done before.
let me give you that $20 now.
Yeah, right. I guess I gotta feel more here too.
in my card.
It's in the checks in the mail.
And plus, he can handle Brian too.
Yeah,
So you know, Brian always likes to inject all this stuff in there.
Brian
you know?
actually was, co-produced it with me. He worked with me in the mixing and the mastering, and he was there. And our dynamic together was easy. It was smooth. There was no issues at all.
I wasn't there.
Yeah,
And Kevin wasn't there.
yeah, and Kevin wasn't there, but yet we still were able to please him. Imagine this.
But that was the great thing about it. Had I been there, it probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Well, now Brian's not here, and he's such an integral part of this band. I just, there's a couple of things that I knew about Brian before I knew him, before I got to meet him, and both of those things are still hold true. He still has his Campco drum kit. He had this drum kit that made by Campco that everybody that knew Brian knew about, these wood Campco drums that he had, that nobody else had that kit. Everybody had, like North drums back in the day, and all these, fancy drum kits. He had this Campco kit that sounded great. It sounded all his own, and he always wore very short shorts. And apparently, when he plays, he still wears both on the Campco drum kit. So you'll be happy to know that, ladies.
I think he was sponsored by Speedo. I'm not sure.
Yeah, pretty close, So, but again,
He had his Campco drum set. He had a 20-inch second floor tom.
right.
We were doing a gig someplace, and it was in the back of a pickup truck, and it flew off, and nobody knew where it went. And he still hates himself for losing that 20-inch all these years, because you can't find them, a 20-inch Campco floor tom. So he's been pissed about that for 30 years.
But he's such an interesting guy. I wish he was with us today. But I mean, do you guys have plans to do some live shows so people can at least get a gist of what it was?
Watch the skies.
Watch the skies for more divine intervention, perhaps.
Supply and demand. The supply's there. Now we just need the demand.
Well, again, if you guys want to know what we're talking about, you can check it out. It's alacarterocks.com. Check out the Facebook and ask your friends that have been playing in LA bands from back in the day, and the people that have bought the record too. So as always, the music does do the talking. So you guys got anything else you want to add about this? You said you got more stuff. So
Love you, Jordan.
we love you guys too, man.
We want
So
to add that for sure, man.
it's nice to know that I could still walk down do stuff like this and they don't run away. So yet, anyway. So this is the a la carte record. It's called Established 1976. Got this really cool font on it and design and stuff like that. Who came up with this design anyway?
Steve Menlo. Steve Menlo. I don't know if you remember him or not, but he used to do all the flyers for like Golden West Ballroom and what was our boy's name at Golden West? Mike Tekanoff.
Yeah, Dan Tekanoff.
Dan Tekanoff.
Came up with this logo
I'm sorry, I forgot my kid's name just then.
Which one? Anyway, but yeah, it's got great tracks on it again, and it's just available at their website, and hopefully at fine retailers soon too, so you can go pick it up. And maybe, is it available on Amazon or anything like that yet?
It's available everywhere as far as I know. And also, there's a great shot on the back of the Starwood for any of you guys that used to hang out at the Starwood. I love this shot. It's a great shot of the Starwood, and this record sounds like that. So that's what I would say about this record.
Almost like live in the studio.
Yeah, if you look at this photo and listen to this record, that's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, again, a la carte. Go check it out. Established 1976.
I played through a 69 Plexi.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we're on our way to the Marshall booth to go get him an endorsement now that he's got a record deal out, so.
One more time.
All right, Junkman, VintageRock.com. NAMM 2018 with a la carte.